Welcome to the Workies podcast, the ultimate podcast dedicated to navigating the dynamic landscape of the home service industry. Delve into the world of business strategies, innovation, and growth as we bring you insightful discussions on the latest trends, success stories, and expert advice. I'm so excited to have you here for our first person in-person podcast.
I'm thrilled.
This is so exciting. For our listeners who don't know, which don't know how they wouldn't, but just in case they don't, would love a little intro on your background and on yourself.
Absolutely. So Didi Azaria, a serial entrepreneur. I think since I was very little, I love to break things up. I mean, I'm very old, so I had these, old tapes, the radio tapes, and I was tearing them apart just to see how they work. Could never build them again. But that's what made. I'm a very curious guy. So again, serial entrepreneur. Created a few successful companies, investing in many companies, and now CEO of Workiz, the best field service platform in the world.
Very true. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm the Workies podcast host. Excited to have you on here today. To start out, though, we're going to be talking about your journey and our journey as well with AI. For people who don't know, I'd love to introduce our listeners to the concept of AI and how it's currently being integrated into the field service industry.
Absolutely. So not many of you know, and I guess you don't know that about me, but I'm one of the first guys in the world who basically created LLMs. It was back in 2015, where OpenAI, I guess, just opened their shop. I created together with my team an AI database. So coming from an embedded analytics company called Sisense, a very successful one, we always have the challenge of too much data. How do we store it? How do we query it? And how soon those queries can get back to the manager to make decisions? That's what database mostly about, right? You want to analyze your data. And I went to sleep and I woke up midnight with an idea. The idea was called Hunch later. And Hunch is a very basic concept where most of us are making decisions on top of 80% of the data. We don't have all the facts, and we still need to make decisions. This is how human beings works. So I took this concept and implemented it in LLMs, on LLMs. We're basically reading a lot of databases, understanding how they structure, and creating what I call a human language into the database. This takes a very large chunk of data, creates an algorithm of it. You can send it whatever question you want, and it gives you their hunch. And the hunch was almost 99% accurate in almost any question, even that they never seen, right? The database or the algorithm never seen. The prediction was so good, patented. And again, I'm one of the, leading minds in AI since 2016, 2015.
Wow. So 99% though, even back in 2015?
Yeah, in some occasions, some decision-making processes, it's not a great thing to have. But in 99% of the other cases, it's a great thing to have. Like, what's our ARR? What's going to be our ARR? Predicts the new ARR next year. In most cases, it's very predictable. And again, this is what LLM does. It predicts the next word. And for us, like if you use ChatGPT today, it looks like magic, right? All it does, it predicts the next word upon a set of the few words beforehand, right? And that's exactly what we were doing back in 2016. And 2018, we actually released it to the world. And it was a very interesting project to work on.
Wow. So you had an idea at midnight and turned it into...
Usually that's what happens.
I have a lot of ideas too. I don't know if I can share them on podcast.
My wife was like, shut up.
She's like, get out. Yeah. She's like, stop talking right now. I get it. So I'm wondering though, like for you, like when you reflect back on your journey, like how did that go from an idea at midnight to being able to get to that point in 2015, 2016, getting patents and releasing that to the world?
I guess that like any other invention, you need to be very stubborn and passionate. I mean, it comes together, I guess.
Yeah.
And with passion, you can convince anybody to do anything.
Yeah.
But you need to believe in the cause. I mean, the cause was really important. Managers could not make fast decisions. Data was impossible to host and was very expensive to host. So I had to find a solution. So you convince people to do crazy things. And this is what I convinced my entire company. That's the best thing to do. It's today we already see the impact of any LLM on any industry in the world. So obviously I was in the right direction.
Yeah, very early on. You're one of the early people. I mean, of course. And I'm curious too. I mean, for people who don't know first too, like, how is AI going to impact people in the field service industry?
Let's talk about the entire human race before we talk about the field service industry, because they're very related. So field service obviously is our passion. I was a service guy 25 years ago. Back in the days we had nothing. I mean, we used maps, physical maps, and we used payphones, and everything was very manual, I guess. And throughout time, digital is changing everything to being very, very efficient. Whether it's Google Maps ways or and other forms of digital ways to make your job easier. And LLMs or ChatGPT alike are no different. I mean, they come to help us to create a better business, to make our business more profitable, successful, efficient, just name it. The only thing you need to do is just to use it. Mm-hmm. And that's the major gap. Now, assuming everybody are using it tomorrow morning, what will happen? That's the big question here, right? So the entire world is going to be a very different place. I'm calling it the inflection point. The inflection point is going to be probably between now and the next 5 years. And the inflection point is all about the amount of human jobs to do, or interactions or actions, and the amount of bot actions that are replacing the human actions. Mm-hmm. There are more automations running today that humans are doing, but still, there is a point in time, not very far, that people will do much less and bots will do much more. LLMs will do much more, or bots like that. I believe that human race, specifically field services, need to be prepared, meaning educated, work with these kind of tools to do more with less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious too, because you mentioned there's going to be a point, and not far from it too, that we're going to have AI being a part of our world that's going to make it more efficient and less work for people. How do you set that up for people so that they are working with AI and able to use it to their advantage in the future?
So it's more of a philosophical question, because there are a lot to that, and we cannot cover everything today.
No, definitely
so let's focus on field service.
Sure.
Luckily, field service, the demand is much higher than supply, so we're all getting, I guess, more cozy in our bed and in our home, and we want people to do stuff for us. We can call it lazy and have money to pay for it, right? Sure. Yeah. I believe that field services would benefit from it in the next 5 to 10 years, because they can do much more work versus much less back office work. Mm-hmm. So less invoicing, more fixing appliances or HVAC systems. And it comes throughout every step of the day, I guess, whether it's answering phone calls down to asking for reviews and replying for these reviews. You can see enormous amount of tools today that are helping you, semi-automatically to do that. I believe that at the end of the day, field services will make more money, not less, in the near future. In the far future, much less employees, specifically the office guys, we will need much less of them.
Yeah, that's definitely something I could foresee happening too. So I understand that. In what ways do you see AI enhancing specifically customer experience in the field service industry?
With customers specifically today, it's all about right here and right now. I mean, we're living in a generation where everything becomes shorter, faster, quicker. I mean, it's the internet, I guess, outcome. And this is exactly what's happening with customers today. Their expectations are that you're going to deliver right now. And I do believe that every technology should fulfill the desire of customers, and we're getting there. I mean, this technology should help call centers and dispatchers and technicians to answer faster, more automatically, to provide the right answer at the right time, or the right technician at the right time for the customer needs.
How will Workies fit into that world too?
We have a big dream. I mean, the Workiz vision is all about automation, and our vision is automate everything that does not involve holding a wrench. And just you can imagine anything possible that does not involve holding a wrench that we're going to push forward in the next few years. We already introduced Workiz Genius in the past few years. Past few months. It's like every month in a startup looks like years. It's like you measure it in dog years.
No, like a day feels like a week, and a week feels like a month.
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
So in the past few months, we introduced Workiz Genius quite successfully, with one intention: to give the dispatcher, the technician, more focus on what's important, which is the customer and the problem, versus writing a long email or a text message to the customer. So it's what we call context-aware system.
Mm-hmm.
It understands the entire ecosystem. When was the last time we met this client? What's the job? What is their problem? Are we dealing with the wife or the husband? And so on. And it gives you the right answer at the right time. Super successful, and many people are using it. And just let's use our imagination what you can do with such a technology that understands faster, provides a better customer service. The bottom line is more jobs, more revenue to the business.
Yeah. It's wild too to be like a part of Workies when we're starting to get into that too, because like even our AI capability right now that we have released, and then some that I know of because being here too, it's just crazy. Like to watch like myself to be a part of that is so cool. And I can imagine that's in 2-3 months from now, which feels like years, we're going to be in a totally different spot. So could you share to our listeners too, like what AI feature you think moving forward is probably going to be a big game changer for them?
So I'll start with that AI is a big buzzword. So be careful. Don't buy AI just because it's a buzzword and it's the next shiny tool. Okay, let's face it. AI is a tool, and I will always say a fool with a tool is still a fool. Okay? You need to understand what are the challenges of your business and you need to solve them the right way for your business. Not all businesses are alike. And that's super important for every business. But as the company that is adopting AI in almost every aspect of its business, from development down to support, I urge you to use it, because otherwise you're going to stay behind. You're going to lose to your competitor. Okay, so it's very simple. But when you look at AI, you need to look at places where it's most painful. You need AI to solve. Okay, when I was a business owner back in the days, you need to listen to phone calls. So we didn't have any recording; it wasn't digital. But today, many of the business owners that we work with are spending weekends or nights just listening to phone calls for training, for giving better customer service. Let's face it. Why wouldn't you let AI do that? Workiz Genius is part of this revolution, right? So it records the call, it transcribes it, it summarizes it for you. And you read the summary, don't read the transcript. It allows you to search in the transcript. These occasions when he said, she said, you said you're getting Amex, we don't get Amex, the customer doesn't have money. Well, we told you we're not getting Amex over the phone. How come you complain right now? These kind of things can be done the manual way. You need to listen to the entire call. And they can be done in an easier way using AI. So summary, transcribe, and guess what? Adding all these details to the CRM is a hassle. Human beings are making mistakes and it takes time. What about the magic button? Create a lead or create a job from this call. And magically, all information very accurately going directly into the CRM. Time savior for the dispatcher, for the owner, and obviously the result is a better customer service. So that's one way of looking of a daily field service problem. And from my perspective, a genius solution, simple yet genius solution to this kind of problem. And we're going to take this kind of approach into anything that we do at Workiz, solving big problems that businesses are struggling with. Not shiny tools, not some crazy advisor that you need to speak to the entire day. We believe in simplicity.
I think that's huge. And to test that too, I mean, you mentioned like so many different things about how we're going to help, whether it's like time saving or if it's going to be like really efficiency. It's also going to help with making sure that we don't have human error. And then customer satisfaction, that's huge. That's what's going to bring in that revenue for them.
Absolutely.
Too.
Recurring revenue comes with happy customers that leaving you good reviews. And once this happening, I mean, we see it all the time. A good customer experience goes long way.
It's true. And some people say, like, like happy wife, happy life. It's happy customer, happy life.
We need to find a rhyme for that.
I know. I don't know what rhyme. I was like trying to think about it. Like, I don't know what would.
Let's use AI for that.
Okay, that's a good, perfect segue. How do you think, moving forward, like, there's of course going to be some challenges that comes with it too. So what do you foresee being like a big challenge in adopting AI and moving forward within the field services?
The first challenge is scarcity. Most of us will scare of a new technology. Like, just think about electric cars. Took a while to adopt. Well, most of us still don't have electric cars, autonomous cars. I mean, I'm a very techy guy. Okay, I will never go on a car that drives by itself right now. Why? Again, it's like I don't trust it enough to do that. So scarcity and trust is a big thing. There is a lot of learning that needs to go into this business before people will use it on a day-to-day basis. But I do believe that we're gonna have a lot of changes. So be prepared for the changes. Educate. Forget about Workiz for a second, okay? Educate your employees to use it on a day-to-day basis. Why do you need this content writer if ChatGPT is doing a better job? Now, let's face it, it's not. Okay, you need a content writer. But at the same time, if the content writer can do 10 times the job that he was doing a year ago, guess what? If you're not using it, you're not utilizing your resources in the right way. That's one example of many, many. Okay, you want to ask your customer to be you want to bid for the job. So you need to create an estimate. You need to write the estimate why they need to choose you. It's not all about the line items. We're a 20 years family business. We have great reviews, but you can write it for an hour, or you can let ChatGPT do that. But again, you need to know how to use it. It's not a plug-and-play software. None of the software that we are speaking about, except from the ones that our Workies are implementing, because we know what we do.
Exactly.
You need to train your employees to speak to that, to give it as much information as possible, and to give it the verbiage, I guess, the look and feel of your business, because you speak different than other businesses. Have the tone, have the right words in it, and suddenly the magic happens.
I love that. I really like what you said with like knowing how to allocate for your resources, which goes into that efficiency too.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's about putting the right technician at the right time at the job site. And this is the only way to maximize the job revenue.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too, because you mentioned like biggest thing is going to be fear moving forward and trust, which to be honest with you, I'm not going to go in a self-driving car yet either. I've seen them like on videos on TikTok and stuff where they have like people in San Francisco just taking an Uber and then it's a self-driving car. I would cancel that Uber for myself, but it's because I don't trust it. So like moving forward, like how would you help mitigate people going into this new world now where AI is going to be a big part of it? How would you help like ease people's minds or tell people to start mitigating that fear?
The first and most important thing, and I can share stuff from here, right? I have a few managers in the past, almost 2 years ago, which were maybe they were seeing it like a weird thing that I'm using ChatGPT and writing email through it. So instead of fighting it, embrace it. If somebody is using it to write emails or just to consult with before they do anything, embrace it. That's the first rule from my perspective as an owner of a business. Embrace it and let people use it as much as possible versus as fewer times as possible. Once you do that, it start being one of their tools on their belt, and they will be more productive.
Okay, I love that. I know that we were also talking about like, it is the future. It's what it's going to be, whether we stop it or not. We're going to run with it. AI is going to be the future. How do you predict that like over the next few years evolving?
I'm not on the optimistic side of the map, I guess, for that. I mean, technology will make people richer. It will make some of the population, I guess, happier, working less. But we're going to lose a lot of jobs. A lot of automation is going to replace cashiers and other forms of jobs that do not require human beings anymore. I mean, you can already go to many stores today and it's fully automated. You just go scan your stuff. You don't even use credit card. You just use your watch. I mean, how easy it is today to buy stuff. And it goes all the way to most of the jobs that are, I guess, low wage in the country. we will need to find a solution as a society. Again, I'm not in the place to speak about society right now, but field services will enjoy to start with, but eventually we'll need to adapt to a new world.
Yeah, definitely. And it's crazy you're mentioning like how there's like so many like different ways to make it more efficient, even shopping. Like there's an Amazon grocery store now that like has like you walk in and then we'll clock all of your items in the cart.
You don't need to do anything, right?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it's like you log into your Amazon account, you walk into the cart and walk out. You don't even have to.
I don't even do that. I'm just saying the word milk in my house, and Alexa is like, "Want me to add milk?" So, yeah, of course. And you got milk like 1 hour later. It's crazy.
No, it is.
I don't need to go to the store anymore. I have a voice assistant that is doing that for me. The world is going to be there. I mean, you will see it more and more in cars, in grocery stores, everywhere.
Yeah. I definitely like to be like upfront of myself too. Like, I mean, I'm a little nervous. Like, it's scary. Any change is always scary. So it's a little scary.
But here's the thing. Look at what we were discussing right now. It's enterprise businesses that are creating a change through the entire consumer industry.
Yeah.
Those consumers will expect that from you as a field service business, okay? Whether it's you're an HVAC or plumbing business, they will expect you to have a price book on your website. Pick and choose, okay? I need you to do, I don't know, 4 visits a month or a week, okay? Depends on the customer. I want it as a menu, just click, 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 book, okay? And I need the technician to come there without me calling anybody. As a customer, as a consumer today, I don't like to speak to anybody. I'm doing, I don't know, WhatsApp or any text possible because I'm busy. I don't have time to speak to anybody. That's the world that we're going to, and that's the change that is required. It's not even nice to have anymore from every business. So automation, AI, okay? It's also things that your business must incorporate in order to stay alive. It's not even being successful.
When do you think that shift happened? Because I think most people would have said, like, you know, to be more successful. But now at this point, it's AI is a requirement. So where do you think that like line was drawn?
I think a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It already happened. We're at a point which I call the exponential phase. We're driving fast. We're going very fast. But we're not realizing how fast it is. It's very hard to see we speak right now, everything looks like in a normal speed, but look at the advancements in 2 areas. There are new AI components, projects that are every day being released. And it got 90% cheaper in the last 24 months, 90.
Wow.
Using it, meaning that we're in an exponential world. This means that anything that we are going to use are going to be cheaper from that perspective, faster and more productive. Think about the world that you can be part of instead of just watching this rocket flies.
Yeah, I love that.
That's the requirement from business owners today.
Yeah, I love that. Just grow with it and be a part of it.
Yes.
I think that's huge.
Open your eyes. Customers requires that. It's not a crazy technology anymore. Everybody is using it.
Yeah, that's like get with it or else what will happen?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah,
okay?
please do.
I wanted to bring an appliance guy to my house. My gas was not going well. The oven, okay? And my wife suggested to clean the oven. Said, can I use water in the entire oven? I said, I don't know. I usually ask my dad or a professional. Said, let's ask GPT. 1 second later, I said, do this, do not do this, and that. Of course, it's all the things that we wanted to clean with water. I said, no, if you're going to do that, you're going to ruin the oven. You're going to have rust, right? The answer was right there. Now, how, as an appliance repair business, you live in a world where customers get the manual how to fix things without you? You need to bring your business to a different level.
I love that, though. I mean, it's huge. Like, that's not even something that it's beyond like creativity at this point. That's not even something I would think to like put in Chat GPT in that moment.
But within time, it's going to be very normal.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just like you were saying with like electric cars. Like that's something like I see a Tesla driving down the street all the time in San Diego.
Yeah.
You know? They're everywhere.
You're used to that. And once you're used to it, it's becoming normal. And when it's becoming normal, it's too late for the people who did not do the change. If you're still paying, I don't know how many dollars you pay for gasoline these days. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
People with electric cars are paying much, much less.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's I like what you said with that too, just like as a concept of like getting ahead, whether that's like with AI or anything, it's really getting ahead before it becomes more normalcy, where now you're behind, you know?
Make your business ready for an AI world where bots are speaking to each other. An oven might order a technician versus a consumer order a technician. This means that you need to get a software that will actually get that for you. You don't need to do it on your own. You're an HVAC guy. You're not connecting the dots with programming, right? Use a software that helps you to do that. Because we're not far away from that world.
I love that. That's something I'm taking away from you today too. And I'm curious too for you, like, I mean, we're talking specifically field service, but I know, well, we all know you love ChatGPT.
I mean, love is ChatGPT.
Oh, of course. It's the best. It's the best.
I'm actually using so many tools. So I'm using 5 different tools. I'm paying for 5 different tools today.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For like personal or for?
Mostly work.
Mostly work.
But I have a crazy, I guess, hobby.
Okay.
I'm creating songs.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to hear these.
I'm using Sono. It's SUNO.
Okay.
I'm paying for Sono.
Okay.
I became a paid member. I mean, I'm a very creative guy, and it allows me to do crazy things. I mean, really crazy things, like take jazz and country and, I don't know, heavy metal, and just combine all of them into a crazy orchestra, and it works crazy. Again, it's just one example of how it changes. It will change being a DJ, or most of my playlists are mine right now. I'm not listening to Spotify anymore. Why? Because I love my music better. I can create whatever I want in 2 seconds. It needs a skill, right? But again, without forking too much, you need to use all these tools to make your life better, I guess.
Yeah.
Work less hours. I'm using ChatGPT and Claude 3. And I'm using Perplexity. Each of them are being used for a different occasion, I guess. ChatGPT is better for one thing. Mainly, I mean, I'm loading presentations or whatsoever and trying to understand them faster because I'm getting like 5 of them every day. And I'm using Claude to create analysis. I'm just using it to have better analysis on almost everything, or I just created a whole presentation by few lines of interacting with it for my product team.
Right.
Use it in order to extend your capabilities, to make yourself better. Do not use it just because, I don't know, it completes you a little bit.
Right.
Because it creates the exponential that you need to be part of.
I love that too, because there's like, just like with any software, right, that you're seeing right now outside of the AI side, each software is going to have its expertise, you know? And the same goes for AI then. Each one has its expertise. So
yes.
ChatGPT might be used for like emails or things like that. Versus you're using a songwriting one too.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were into music though. I produce my own music too.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't do that though. So now I'm going to have
I'll show you in a few after that interview. But in general, the quality is not as good, and this is true for any AI. You need to check that. You're a human being. Please do me a favor and check that. Read what it does. Same with songs. Producing music today is much better quality. But as I mentioned, when we live in an exponential, you don't realize that tomorrow morning the quality is going to be better than a human producer. Yeah. This is true for video, for songs, for games. Gaming is going to change tremendously. Everything that we know today is going to change in the next few years.
Right. And I know you mentioned like a lot of it's going to be educating yourself on this too. So like we're talking about getting 1 step ahead, right? Or even like 5 steps ahead, I feel like at this point to get up to that normalcy before it happens. So like what can people start doing now to educate themselves to get to that point?
Use it on a daily basis. Just use it. Ask ChatGPT, how can I be better at my job, at my love life? I mean, it's honest to God, it makes you a better person, but you need to, it's not a one-off. You cannot ask a question and expect a direct answer. You need to speak to it like any other advisor. The advisor doesn't know you well. Just give it enough information and you will get a better result. And within time, like your age, right? You will know how to use it. And it's going to be less painful and easier. It's going to be a habit. Another tool, as I mentioned before. But again, you need to force yourself to do it to start with. Because again, the technician next to you or the dispatcher next to you or the competitor dispatcher is going to be better than you if you're not going to use it on a daily basis.
Okay. Taking note. I need to get 5 more AI tools immediately for me. I love that. Have them take note too. As AI, continues to evolve as well, what are you most excited for then? Both professionally and then we'll talk about personal too.
Professionally, I mean, the technologies have almost unlimited options.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that any digital interaction should be automated in some way. And I personally believe that in human touch. So technicians should meet the customer at their home, maybe until robots will be here. It will take some more time, but it's not very far from that.
Yeah.
So in a professional way, I mean, the amount of inventions, field service-wise or healthcare-wise, I mean, space, doesn't matter, is going to have an amazing boost. Amazing. Already happening today.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the new medical devices or medicines are being reinvented or invented by new molecular structures that AI is thinking of, not human beings. Human beings are instructing it, said, okay, go fetch, right? It does much better job than human beings, and it keeps many people alive because of that. That's one thing that is very exciting to me. It happens also in field service world, right? It helps people to consult with ChatGPT on problems that are almost impossible to solve. Okay, I have a leakage here. There is a huge concrete, pile. What I'm going to do with it? I don't have any equipment to do that. You might be surprised about the amount of ideas that this tool can give to you at the field. Just install the app right now. You don't have ChatGPT. It's free. Okay, install it right now and consult with it. Take a picture of the problem. It will identify what you're looking at, and guess what? It will probably going to give you a much better idea than anybody else around you. But again, give it enough information to be able to solve your problem. Personally, again, I believe that we live in the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best time to be alive. We need to remember that relationships are more important than just the digital. We need to use it personally to live better lives, spend more time with our kids and families and friends, and use it not to work harder, but to work smarter and more efficiently and get home earlier. And this is what we do, by the way, at Workiz. We try to get you home earlier as a technician, as the owner. There is an AI for that. I'm not kidding. Why do you spend 5 hours listening to calls? There is an AI for them. Use it. Read the summary, for God's sake. Read the summary. It's that easy.
Okay.
You see a problem, dive in. You want to see a bigger picture? Great, you have a dashboard for that. Don't look at every other job. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I love that too, because we've talked a lot about efficiency and how it's going to help with running the business. But it's important to acknowledge the why, which I think you just answered. It's why we're doing it, why we're using AI. It's really so that we're able to be able to spend more time with the people we love and able to get to a point where we can be with them more rather than listening to 5 hours of calls.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's huge. Do you have any key takeaways that you would like the work users to know?
Yes. As I just mentioned to some of the new employees, I mean, we're having a lot of new employees, and I'm meeting all of them. The world is changing. The employment world is changing tremendously. Be part of this revolution. Don't take the sideways here. Do not watch the revolution happening. It requires you to use the tools that understands that, the companies that understands it, whether it's Workies or any other software company that you use. If they see the future, and we just talked for an hour about this future, you will be in a good place because they're going to take care of all this tedious manual work that you do and help you to be at that future. And if you don't use that kind of software, it's time to jump ship and buy and go get to a spaceship, because you need a spaceship in this world.
Okay. Get a spaceship, everyone. That's what you're saying. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you being on here today. I think all of your insights were wonderful, and I took away so much, and I'm sure everyone else will too. So again, thank you for joining the Workies podcast, and we're looking forward to having you on again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning into the Workies podcast. We hope today's episode has provided valuable insights and inspiration to propel your business forward. Remember to subscribe to our podcast for more engaging discussions and expert advice on navigating the dynamic landscape of the field service industry. I hope you got to unplug a little with us. Until next time, keep innovating, growing, and delivering exceptional service. We'll see you in the next episode of Workies Unplugged.